Good afternoon, and welcome to the City Club of Cleveland. My name is Jan Roller, and I am president of the club. We're happy to have you here at this Friday forum at the City Club, the longest continuous free speech forum in the country. Our speaker today is Daniel Kutner, Consul General of Israel to the Mid-Atlantic region, which includes the states of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Delaware, Kentucky, West Virginia, and southern New Jersey. His topic is Israel at a Crossroads, Opportunities and Challenges on the Road to Peace. Some may wonder whether the challenges to that road to peace may be posed here at home in the United States. Paul Vitello, a journalist for the New York Times, recently wrote that criticizing Israel has long been the equivalent of touching a third rail in many Jewish families and friendships, relegating disagreements to a conversational demilitarized zone where only the innocent and foolhardy go. But the recent tension between the Obama administration and the Israeli government over the stalled Middle East peace process has put the questions underlying those long-avoided family discussions directly in the public spotlight. They have raised serious questions about whether the traditional leadership of the American Jewish world is fully supported by the mass of American Jews. The issue arose last month when American officials openly rebuked Israel over the announcement of new housing plans in East Jerusalem, and are likely to grow as indirect talks between Israelis and Palestinians mediated by the Obama administration resume. Prominent Jewish leaders, such as Nobel laureate Elie Wiesel and former New York Mayor Edward Koch, representing the conservative organizational leadership that has been the dominant voice of the Jewish community for decades, have recently criticized the Obama administration's pressure on Israel. But while those voices have been strong and their message unmistakable, there are signs that a newly outspoken wing of Israel supporters have begun to challenge the old-school automatic support of the country's policies, suggesting that one does not have to completely adopt Israeli policies to love Israel. Mr. Kutner undoubtedly hears these different perspectives within the American Jewish community, perhaps even here in the strong, vibrant Jewish community we have in Cleveland. In 1973, he immigrated to Israel from his birthplace in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Since 1983, he has served in many posts in the Israeli government. He started in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and moved on as Consul for Academic Affairs in New York. He has also held several positions at the ministry's Center for Political Research, causing him to travel throughout the Middle East and internationally to provide decision makers and senior government and military officials with intelligence and analysis on current events. We are very honored to have you here. Please welcome Mr. Daniel Kutner.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed a very happy occasion for me. I am glad to be here in the city of Cleveland that produced giants like Abba Hillel Silver, one of the great leaders of the Jewish community and of the State of Israel. And of course, it's a privilege for me to be given the opportunity to address this wonderful audience in this august institution. Regretfully, our region, my region, continuously provide subjects for discussions. I wish I would be able one day to say, well, I'm sorry I can't take this engagement because there's nothing new to report. This is not so. There is Israel has been struggling to be accepted in the area since its inception, since before its inception. The return of the Jewish people to its ancestral home has not gone unchallenged. Although if we look at the last generation, we do see reasons for hope, reasons that maybe they are being unfulfilled until now, but they do seem to show a way out of the conflict between us and our neighbors for the last 100 years. There seems to be that increasing proportion of the Arab world, Palestinian society is increasingly willing to accept the continuous existence of a Jewish state in their midst. But regretfully, this is not yet a general idea, and they're accepted by everybody. And the difficulties that we have encountered in our way, in our quest for fulfilling those promises actually show the influence of those extremists, those radical factors that who aim at actually destroying the state of Israel, and don't see a place for Israel in the Middle East. And Israel has prevailed in its struggle militarily in different wars against superior forces. And in virtue of the determination of our people, and also, I must say, the way we could put into good effect the quality of our education, the background of learning that that gives us an advantage over our neighbors, we, the few, were able to confront far superior armies in numbers and even in equipment. But the challenges we face today are of a different kind and not less difficult. The challenge is actually of finding a way to make peace with our neighbors. And that means, first of all, Palestinians, and then also our Arab neighbors. And regretfully, we also have to take into consideration further away, a third tier of Islamic countries that some of them have adopted a very militant attitude towards us, and first and foremost, I'm talking about here about Iran. In fact, Iran has been behind much of the lack of success that the failures we encountered in trying to move forward in a process of reconciliation with our neighbors. When there were Palestinians that were willing to reach a truce with us, that were willing to stop armed struggle in order to try their way to peace, there were cells and terrorist organizations and extremist movements that sabotaged those attempts. And behind those organizations and cells and armed groups was the technical, ideological, political support of Iran and its allies in the area, mainly the Lebanese Shiite organization Hezbollah. When in Palestinian society, actually, an Islamist group grew up and challenged the mainstream that was at least nominally committed to a two-state solution. I'm speaking about the Islamist movement Hamas. It was Iran that supported them and allowed them to grow into not only a social and political and military group, but also into a challenge to the Palestinian Authority.